Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we'll be doing some lowrider graphics, but they're gonna be done by a well-known painter by the name of Robert Vanderslice. If you don't know who he is, he's a well-known lowrider painter. He's had a lot of his vehicles come out on Lowrider magazine and some other respectable magazines. So he also has a YouTube channel, guys. Follow him. He has a live show every Thursday that he does some lowrider graphics. I'm gonna leave everything in the description below, and also on for his YouTube channel. He also has a store that he sells all his products and some already flaked boards that you can practice on. Those are really good. You don't have to mess with any flakes or anything. They're already done for you. All you got to do, start taping it up and do your own work. All right, so let's just go with Robert. Robert, take it away.
What's happening, everybody? Boom, boom, boom. Like my brother Lamuel. Man, definitely appreciate all you guys. But some of you guys know my history. You know, I've been in Lowrider magazine over 37 times, 2 separate articles, you know, just about me. You know, top painters profiled, artist painter profiled. So it's been a blessing, and two world champion, Euro of the Year with Casanova, and Lowrider of the Year with Rolling Malo. Like I think 2004, something like that. You know, we continue to learn, trial and error, and that's what it's all about, like I say. And I did want to show the board again that we did last week, if some of you guys didn't get to see it. You know, man, it came out beautiful, especially just kind of freestyling it. You know what I mean? And like I say, it's one of those things, and let me tell you, I go and I look at this thing, and it's like, man, so many things that I wish I could have done better or different. But when you got the pressures on, like on a Thursday night, and you're going live, you know, it's definitely the pressure's on, so you got to really perform. So tonight we're gonna be doing some layering. So that, you see a lot of that, a lot of people are doing that. I mean, personally, myself, it's cool, but some people have burned it out so much, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. You know, we're going to literally do a layer, and then we're going to do another pattern on top of it, and we're going to keep building this way all the way across. You'll understand what I'm talking about. You guys might call it something else. So like I say, we're going to be doing layering. Tonight we'll be doing cobalt blue, oriental blue, some whites and some blacks. And you always want a wax and grease remover, Windex. Boom, boom, boom. It's a big deal to be in Lowrider magazine. I was one time with the S10 on Supremes. Man, I want to try to set up, like I tell you guys, I'm so serious about sharing your artwork. We're getting there slowly but surely. I'll have to figure out a program that I can be using to go live, to where I can have somebody like sharing it, what you're working on. So I want to try to set up a separate email that you guys can send your artwork to, stuff that you're working on. And same thing for time purposes, we're just literally running a 1/4 inch away from the edge. And you guys know I do the same thing every week. It's honestly for time purposes. Man, we could sit here, we could turn it towards round. We could go round. You could literally come in, if you're trying to do something cool, we could have cut in. I'm just giving an example. We could have cut in for the border. Cut that there, and this would be part of the border. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know what? We might stick with that tonight. Just trying to give you guys some options instead of just squaring it off. But I'm one of those ones, I would rather spend, let me tell you guys, I would rather spend, how do you put it, time management. You know, there's some people, it's like, man, it's like, how do you put it? It's like, they focus sometimes on areas that are not going to be seen. It would be better to spend time with things that are going to see, people are going to see a little bit more, and you can spend a little bit more detail. And of course, this here, I would have honestly done this one piece. But like I say, I'm just trying to show you guys an example of what you can do as far as a border. And like I say, we'll stick with it just so you guys get an idea. Same thing, when you're razor blading, I always put it right against it. And then I'll drive it straight down. And of course, I'll wait to do this one. And then same thing here. Like I say, this would have been one piece. But like I say, I'm just showing you, like, there's so many things you can do at the border. It don't always have to be the square at all. But to me, it is important to put a border. And it's always important, like I say, see that I didn't cut that all the way through thick enough. Back to that, if I'm shaky like crazy, if I can do it, you can do it. What's good, man? This, man, it does look a lot better on the screen. What do you guys think? And I do appreciate your feedback, positive and negative. And almost everybody that's been negative, it's not been negative, it's been what do you call that? Constructive criticism, and in the most loving way. You know, it's like, hey, it's hard to watch when it's all shaky. Hey, the lighting, it's a little dark. You know, it's like, man, we're trying to fix it, like I say. So you guys kind of see that's something cool you can do. I mean, there's so many things you could do. You could go to the edges. You could sit here and you could curve it. And you could cut that out, cut that out, cut that out. You know what I mean? So many things that you could do. You guys know I always do the usual same stuff as far as this. And of course, I'm huge on, we have to frame it. We have to frame it. You have to mask it. For you guys that don't know why we do this, because if you were to sit here, run all your lines through, pretend you got all kinds of lines going through this, you're gonna have to go back and cut every single one of those. When instead you could tape this up, run them over the masking tape. That way you can just lift them up whenever it's time to tear them. It just makes it, you gotta think, man, time management, you gotta think smart, tape smart. Think out your process. Visualize what it's going to take to get that job done. So now I'm going to come in and just tape this too. And with this one, I'm using the lower end 3M. I mean the real white label, not even the 233. It's the low end. Just because I'm not going to have it on there for a bunch of time. It's easy to tear. I don't want to waste good tape where I don't need to. So back to that, think smart with your tape. Don't be using super expensive tape on areas that you know you don't need to. Price. So So now, like I say, we're gonna be doing layering. So basically with this, and it could go either way. We're gonna, you know what I mean? I'm gonna stretch it out. You'll see right away what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna come in. In fact, we'll come in with and let me tell you this. You'll see kind of what I'm talking about, and then I'll kind of show you what a lot of the style has been just butchered. People have used it so much, and there's so many ways of doing it. The old school way, which we'll kind of do the old school way, and I'll kind of break it down. So I'll come in with the first one right there. Same with this, we're just kind of eyeing it. You could go in and measure it if you want. So that's kind of your old school S pattern. There's so many ways to do it. So let me just, while we're beginning, let me tell you, like a lot of people are doing, they're curving it. They'll do like a curve. You know what I mean? They'll do that. They'll do to where, I'm gonna warp this too much. Once you kind of curve it like that, you kind of warp the tape. Sometimes you gotta like start over because it'll weeble wobble. Then you got that. And then you got, of course, people that are, they're doing this, and then they'll run a line where it's kind of a book folded over. Of course, this would have to get cut out. You know what I mean? And it's folded over kind of 3D. But we're gonna stick with this. You'll see what I'm kind of talking about with the layering. This is something, I mean, it's mandatory too for your toolbox, your tricks and your techniques. It's mandatory. I mean, layering is like a huge part of everything. So okay, so I cut that there. Let's see, I want to make sure it's as straight as possible. Might not be perfect, but. So then I'm going to come back in. I'm just going to, this will be some added detail, which I could add this later. It's always good to put a little outline with the 1/8 inch or 16th inch. You could go in. So we're gonna do that. So in other words, this is our first start, and we're gonna just work our way all the way to the other end. Like I say, you still don't kind of understand what I'm doing. Very shortly you will. I don't know what they call it. I call it layering. You know what I mean? So then, now, same thing. I'm going to come back. And of course, I'll come back. Let's see. J-tape. So now I'm going to come in right here. We'll try to line that up as good as possible along that edge. In fact, I'll go about right here because I want to save enough to layer another one right there. So come in with that. Then I'm going to come in right here. So same thing, I'm going to cut it right here. This will be the start of you guys, it'll start making a little sense. Boom. Now same thing, I'm gonna come back. And of course I can come back in a minute and do all this layering real quick. But I'm gonna do just one more with the J tape. And this depends how you want it. I mean, this outline just makes it. You could avoid this outline. We could just do that the whole way and it would look cool. But this just shows that you spent some more time. You wanted some more detail. And there's so many ways. Like, I'll break it down too. There's shortcuts, which, I mean, not all the time you can spend 100 hours on something. You know what I mean? So there's shortcuts, like we talked about, where literally you don't mask anything up. You just spray along the edge. It would just be us just spraying, not masking anything up, just spraying along the edge of all the designs. That is just quick. You can get it over with quick. Or you can go in, you can mask up, mask different ones up for different shades, whatever it may be. You could spend all kinds of time. Put something inside here, literally mask this up, shoot white along the edge here. Same thing, white, come back in, but you'll want to make it crisp. And you could back to that. You could not mask it up. Shoot white, come back. I mean, it's like, you know, how detailed do you want it? So then now, I'm going to come back. And of course, just because we're breaking it up, back to that, I'm going to use the J tape, 1/4 inch. Same thing. So I'm going to come in right here, up against that one there. I'm going to go to about right there. And then I'm going to come over here to about there. And then we could either keep swinging it the same way, like I could swing it the whole way that way, or you could break from the monotony and you could swing it the opposite way. With some of you guys that have OCD, that would be a hard one. You know what I mean? And like I say, this, so even this, like I say, this whole method of layering is what the majority of people are doing out there. It would be like your standard style that's really, really getting spread out there. And of course, instead of this S pattern, it could come in. Some people are doing a little hook there. And just ignore I put this here. And of course, they're doing that there. So that would be like that there. And we'd cut it, cut it, cut it. You know what I mean? And you could do that for an example. So, and it makes me feel like doing that. You know, because we're just, like I say, I'm showing you guys. And most people you would want to keep, which there's no rules. Back to that. We could keep it this S pattern style the whole way. Or you could do a bunch of different stuff depending on what you got going on. Like I say, there's this here to cut it up there. That's one whole style there. Or like the S pattern there. And I think we will. That's where that artist thing comes in, and you want to just kind of switch it up sometimes. And then just even because showing you guys to get an example, like I say, I feel like I should have left it that way, but it is what it is. We'll do another. There's plenty, like I say, even to figure out what to do every night. There's so much to do, but man, you beat yourself up even trying to figure out what to do sometimes. So same thing, I'm going to come in, and all of this is going to get layered off of each other the whole way. Of course, there's so many things, man. You could do it towards fat here, like the regular designs, kind of like what we do. Toward is something like that, but we're not doing that tonight. We're gonna literally outline each one like this. Like I say, and there's no rule book. It's like, it's one of those things that, I always used to try to do around these turns. I would do it a little bit thicker, You know what I mean? Which I mean, I still, but we're going to stick tonight with kind of going that 1/8 inch away. Same thing here. And then by layering, you guys are starting to get an idea. This is going to go up here. It's going to look like it got shaded there. This is going here. It's going to go literally, this is on top underneath. We're going to do another one to where it's layered, to where that one's layered on top of that one. It's hard to really get the idea till it's finished. So now I'm going to come back. I'm going to do another. Let's see. Go a little bit fatter here, over here, a little bit wider. You do want to kind of make sure your distance here and here is staying pretty. It's so easy to get it up like a 1/2 inch. I mean, it's so easy to get it up to where it's like, man, and it'll kind of complicate it. And of course, like I say, we're not trying to get too technical, breaking out the ruler and stuff, but so like I say, there's that. And of course, back to this, we could go up like I kind of did a twist down there. And with this one, so I'm going to literally undo this because I'm going to turn that one up. And most of the time I would keep it going the same direction. And when I mean same direction, all of these points are all curving this way. I wouldn't do this. This one I would have curved still up this way, but that's just personal preference. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do, let me straighten this out a little bit there. I should have went a little bit farther. Should have went like another inch, but that's all right. I'm gonna curve it up, same thing. Like I say, there's so many things you could do here. Like I say, we could curve like a lot of people are doing. You curve it and it looks like it rolled over when it's all said and done. You know, we'd cut that off, we'd cut this off. You know what I mean? So simple. I'm just gonna show you guys, you know, just, we're not gonna keep it like that, but just to give you guys an example. Of course, pretend like that's gone, and then it looks like it's curved, and you would shade that to where it looks like that's rolled over. You know what I mean? And that piece is going underneath it. You guys get what I'm saying? Yep, no rules in custom paint. There might be in our own heads, let me tell you, there really is. But man, when you're first learning, man, just do it. Just do, like I'm telling you, experiment. Try it all. I mean, that's literally what I did, man. I tried this style, I did this style, I did this style. And that's what ends up creating your own style. To where it's like, man, you take bits and pieces from everybody. You know, it's like, man, I was, like I say, man, I would pull out the Lowrider magazine, flip through it. I was pretty picky. I didn't like everything. I would find some stuff I really liked. And then for the first, like I say, the first couple of years I would duplicate other stuff. And then that's how you learn. Literally, like I tell you guys, if you think it just all flowed out and was able to create something, man, absolutely not. So same thing, I'm coming right here, gonna cut it. So in other words, this is going under here, this is going here, then this is gonna come out here, so it's layered. And we're layering it all the way across. You know what I mean? So watch this, I'm gonna show you guys just real quick. I'm not gonna do a whole big old part. So you got this here. So then I'm gonna curve this to here, right? And of course, I wish I had a little bit more space. I would have did. Stick with me here. So same thing, like I say, I'm not, we're just doing one little ribbon part of it, so you'll have to kind of imagine with me. Then this, like I say, it would have curved a little bit more, but I'm gonna just give you guys like an idea. So then this piece would curve here, curve there. Then of course, you're gonna cut this here. Then I'm gonna come back here. Then you continue this off down the road here. You're gonna come over here, cut here. Same thing here. Boom. So you got, of course, where it curves. And of course this curve a little bit more, and then same thing. This thing here, I would do the same thing. Like I said, I'm just giving you guys an example. So this, I'm gonna just bring it a little more. And then same thing. Of course, this piece here. And then this would curve down. Same thing here. Curve this up here. Same thing, this curves up here. I'm gonna lift this back, both of these out of the way, because you don't want to be razor blading 1,000 things. You want to avoid that as much as possible. Which, like I say, we'll have to do it to break it down to kind of give you an example. So this here, same thing. So this here, because it's kind of short, I'm gonna curve this one here, tear this one there. Boom, there. Same thing here, I'm coming off of this. Like I said, I'm gonna take this off. I'm just trying to give you guys an example of the twisting ribbon. So same thing here, cut this here. Boom, 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 you guys get me there? So this, you know what I mean? It's literally twisting it. Of course, if I sprayed it, and of course this is a cool S pattern, and then of course it's turning, flipping, you know what I mean? You guys kind of get this little section, you know what I mean? And of course I just did it a quick, it's the cool, and there's so many ribbon styles. Let me tell you, Rudy's car, the older Camry, it had every door on it had a different ribbon. We did the one that we did 2 or 3 weeks ago, and of course this is a style here. And like I said, I just wanted to kind of show you guys this, you know what I mean? Yep, laying 1,000,000 miles of tape. So hopefully that was a little informative for you guys. Like I say, we should have kept that, but we are not, because that's not our plan tonight. That will be another night. So back to this layering, getting sidetracked. You guys are sidetracking me, psych. Just kidding. So then back to this. I'm gonna come in with the 1/8 inch. I mean with the 1/8 inch, about 1/8 of an inch away, for the added little detail. Same thing here. Has JR got on yet? No. I know I don't want to show that seat till he comes on. Boom, boom, boom. I know, why did he take it up? I was just showing you guys. We'll do that another night. So there we go. Boom. Yeah, we'll save that cool ribbon, man. And there's a way to do it. Let me tell you, I learned the hard way. That ribbon I just showed you, man, you could tape it and cut. I'm talking cut. I should almost showed you guys, man, and it just makes a mess because then it opens up. The tape, it opens up and it makes a mess. So the way I just showed you guys is the right way to do it, where you turn it. Man, you do the next step. You lift back that up. You put it down. You do the next one. You're able to just continue with it. But that's not what we're doing tonight. So boom. Okay, so now we're doing this. Let me do one more layer right here. In fact, I'll kind of come a little bit more. In fact, I'll break out the quarter. We're sticking with the quarter first and then the 1/8 outline. So I'm going to do this. Then same thing, like we got this here, we could do that, or we could do whatever to go up. And I mean, I could even crisscross through this, but we're not going to, so I'm gonna come a little bit farther. And same thing, I'm gonna come about right here. In fact, you know what, this one, I'll even jump down a little bit more. And then same thing, man, there's a bunch. Man, back to this, doing this right here. There's so many ways to do the old school S patterns. I'll have to break down the 3 different ways of interlooping those. And it's the same thing. You could either make a mess, making multiple cuts, or you could think smart. So same thing. I'm gonna do that there. You make sure this is what I want to do. Yep. Okay. And we can, another night we can do to where it does do the scroll, where we do every single one a scroll. Boom. I think this one, let me see. Trying to think if I want to get off track here. No, we're sticking with what we got going on. Brain wants to start working and start doing a whole bunch of other stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, and there's so many methods out there. Everybody does something a different way. And then of course, then it gets to like, man, I gotta say, with doing all the classes, had to really, how do I put it? Man, with doing the classes, you know, that would be, man, me and Joe Angel, the first one. Let me tell you, you think a lot of people do stuff the same way? They don't. Everybody does something a different way. And that's the way we should be. And of course, we get stubborn. We're stubborn people at times. So now I'm going to come back. Come right here. I'll kind of bring this one over here. Now I'm going to bring this one. And I kind of bring it this far because I'm only going to go from here. but I bring it this far over this way just to try to help line it up some, to where you get a little bit, to where you're able to keep a pretty good distance and to see what you're doing. You know what I mean? And of course this, I could do a couple different ways. We could turn it this way, which I hate to say my OCD, and this one's gonna actually make me go at the same shape. So we're gonna do that, and same thing. I'm gonna kind of turn, go at that same shape. And usually when I'm doing this, I try to keep all of these, how do I put it? Let me explain this to you. So you want to keep, when you are doing this, and back to that, there's no rules, but man, you'll see people where it's like, let me use this for an example. See how this, it's just going way not the same groove that this is going. If you get what I'm saying, you always want to try, and they're going to be off at times. You want to try to keep the same flow, whatever direction you are going, to where you don't have like kind of cockeyed ways. And like I say, there's no rules if that's what you're doing and you pre-planned it. But if you're trying to keep it to where they're going the same angle, I mean, really try to keep it going the same angle. And then like I tell you guys, we could sit here. Rudy, go grab me a 2-inch orange. Like I say, there's ways to kind of check it out. You know what I mean? Yep, same angle. And because like I say, it'll be crooked. Like, and let me tell you. So let me explain this. There's been times where I've had to work in a small garage. I'm talking a single car garage, patterning out a whole car. We're talking with like 1.5 foot. We're talking like 1.5 foot of space, because it's winter time, and you're patterning out this car in a single car garage, a Cadillac in a single car garage, and you have no room to look at your angles. You have no room to look at your angles unless you pull that car out. So my whole point to you, you pull that car out, and those angles are a little off. You know what I mean? So like I say, you can come in, you could use this for like a spacer. So let's say, you know, I'm just giving you guys an example, but I'm actually pretty happy with it. But I could have left that there, could have angled it out, and then seen how good I did as far as, which it looks pretty good as far as keeping the angle going the same way. You know, same thing, you're here, you know, you want to kind of make sure that it's kind of going the same angle. And like I say, don't beat yourself up if it's not. I mean, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because like I say, you got a bunch that are going kind of, you know, unless you meant to do that, then so be it. But if you're trying to keep everything, like I say, even this is hard for me to tilt this one down and tilt this one up. But I'm just doing it because we're trying to, you know, kind of the, like I say, the layering. Of course, I'm taking this back to over here. It's like I say, the whole point to this one is that we're layering everything to where it's like, this was our first one, and then we just, you know, this one got layered off of it, this one got layered off of this one's gonna look like it's on top of that one, this one goes on top of these, goes underneath that one, this one goes on top of that. Which ones? Because man, they're expensive, man. Like I say, man, trust me, guys, I'm a shopper. Like, man, I'm on your side, where it's like, man, you got to try to conserve, man. Especially you own your own shop, and you're paying for the materials. Woo! Like sandpaper, I freak out on some of those, some of the collision shops. Man, guys will use the sandpaper barely, and they'll throw it in the trash. I'm like, man, that is crazy. The waste that goes on. And trust me, I get it. There's a balance. So if that sandpaper's like, how do I put it? I know it's all about the hourly, trying to get things done. And you got to kind of balance. It's like, okay, That sandpaper, if I was to put a new one, I'd be able to get this job done way quicker versus the labor, the cost, whatever's going on. It's cheaper to just get a new piece of sandpaper, even though to me, that paper's still good. I'll use that thing till the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys are the same, but I get it. The production shops, they got to get the work done. Just get it done. But my whole point is, man, when you own the shop, you're going to conserve that a lot more than you would usually. You know what I mean? So, okay, so now I'm going to come, let's see. We'll do another. We're going to almost have this taped. Like I say, there's a whole point to this. So same thing, I'm going to come probably to about right here. Okay, we'll wait just a second that. So same with this, you want to keep that line pretty straight. You could either measure it, eyeball it, because man, sometimes your eyes will play tricks on you. Like we'll just see right there. It's like, man, honestly, that is, to me, that's already a little bit, I'm going to tilt it a little bit that way. So back to that, you could come in, check it out, see how bad you're off. You know, like that's not bad. You know what I mean? Or just eye it the whole way. Of course, this is just going to go off the edge. This one here, we're going to come over here. Going to come over here. Same thing, I'm coming in with the 1/8 inch real quick. You could do this at the end. You could do all of those 1/4 inches and then run the 1/8 inch after, or just do one at a time and just get it done to where it's like, man, because it can be overwhelming. You're doing a whole car. You got to think a hood, a trunk, and you got to think like with this is just one side. So if we were doing a mirror image now, I'm going to kind of give you guys a kind of a breakdown of that. We'll turn it a little bit. Let's see. Got you. Yep. So same thing, I'm cutting right here. I'm cutting right here. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more. We'll do one more just end over here. I'm going to come all the way over here. I'll run that one all the way down. About 1/4 inch. Kind of. Oops. Forget it. And once it gets weebly wobbly like that, sometimes it's better just to tear and start over. This one I should have not tore it. I'm gonna do the same thing. Do a little bit more this way. That one's just gonna go off the edge. Same with that. Watch, we'll see. We'll see. Huh? I like the way that panel fits perfect. Yeah, I know, that's a good one. Way better. You know, you could go in if you want. Like I say, you could go in. So I'm just giving you guys an example here. Like I say, in every one of these, you could go back and do that. Widen it up, which I mean, that actually does look way cool. It almost kind of looks like this, and that ain't even my purpose there. Okay, so I'm gonna come back in. Quarter inch, boom. So you could come in and do that to all of them. Like I say, this ain't even really, so I do want to go though with you guys real quick. I want you guys to understand. So I'm gonna turn it some. You're not gonna be able to see the whole thing. Let's say we were doing, which I hope you get to see like a pretty decent amount of it. Let's say we're doing, this is a hood, right? So of course the mirror image, just pretend this is flipped over this way. This is the left side of the hood. And you get the right side of the hood. And of course, you know, we'd have more space. But you got to think this design would swoop up here. This one would be right here, swooping up. Man, and when it's a mirror image, it just looks amazing. You know what I mean? And of course this, we're just demonstrating, like I say, the layering. There's so many ways to copy it over to the other side. What are we going, 922? I don't want to keep you guys too crazy tonight. I know last week was crazy. So I'm going to move this back here. I am going to do a couple more little, we'll kind of do a 1/2 inch. And like I said, I wasn't even going to do this. It should just be layered, but this is what we do. Make more work for ourselves. So now, like I say, there's several things we could do. We could literally just get different colors and spray along the edge. All of this. We could just spray along the edge and call it a day. That's like the easy way. That's like step, like number 1, where you just do that. That's your easiest way of doing it. You could be done in just a flash. Or you could go back and be like, okay, I'm going to tape some of these up. I'm going to kind of do a little separate, you know, where you do something separate in each one. You know what I mean? And so I'm saying it's like limitless what you could do. I mean, it just depends how much time you want to invest in it. You know, if you do want to put some whites, you know what I mean? Or it's like I say, we'll do a couple white, but I'm gonna do for the white is gonna be where the oriental will be. So like I say, please understand this, guys. Like I say, you could really do this really easy, to where it's literally you are getting the gun, just shooting along each edge, not filling it in, dialing it down, and then the whole point to this whole layering, we would take this one up first. You would go back in, you would shade if you're a black guy, or if you're a colored, candy colored for your shading, which I like black, you know. And then same thing, then we would untape that next one, do the black, the shading. You'll kind of see where it's going to be layered. Like I say, and this will move pretty fast. So I'm gonna come back just real quick. We will, and you could multi, if you're gonna do something here, you can maybe space it out there, or you could kind of tape up, kind of save, conserve on a little bit of time and tape. So we kind of will do that. I'll do right here, and then I am gonna actually tear this here. Boom, I'm gonna drop that down just a tad there. I'm gonna come back a little bit lower end masking tape. So I don't want to waste the good stuff just doing this. And imagine I have plenty of tape here and I'm not gonna waste it. You know what I mean? That's that one I am going to what kind of paper is that? So the white paper, honestly, Alan, David, it's some leftover that I think Randy had. I don't know where he got it. And the brown paper is, of course, Home Depot. Man, I get a lot of my paper Home Depot, the 12-inch, the 6-inch. I'll literally get it from there. It's like I say, I'm all about conserving. And this white, I'm really not sure, my brother. So boom there, and then same thing here. Like I said, I want to kind of shoot this one and this one at the same time. You know, you want to utilize, how do you put it? If you're able to space some stuff out enough that it's one design is not going to affect the other, try to do it. So same thing, I'm going to come in here. Literally just tear right there. Same thing. Just gonna fold that over. Yeah, sometimes it is. Home Depot, I gotta say, some of the automotive stores, man, it's crazy some of the prices on paper. How many of you guys bought green paper lately, 36-inch? Man, I'm talking crazy.
Does it bleed?
No, it doesn't bleed unless you're soaking it, Eldon. If you're soaking it, then it will, but most of the time it doesn't bleed on me. It always works out. Let me tell you, we used to use newspaper, bro. Literally, thrifty nickels, newspaper. That was our life story. Newspaper, and I don't know if you guys, some of you guys remember Standard Brands. Used to get the masking tape there. That stuff was so cheap. I'm talking, this is like when I was like 12. I would be doing like neighbors' cars, some of my family's cars for extra money. And I mean, even my dad, every car he ever did was taped with the newspaper. He would piece it all together, tape it up. That's what we used to use. And imagine that. That was, you got to think, man, that was acrylic enamel, single stage. You talk about thick. And it's like, man, unless it got flooded, but man, for the most part, man, it really wouldn't have no bleed, you know, to where it would soak through. So there we go. We got that taped up, Make sure there's no leakers. I think what I will do, I'm going to kind of do that white and black. Kind of 3D. I kind of like that position right there. So I'm going to go over break out the white. I'm gonna literally I'm gonna go around all of these with white real quick. And then we're gonna move it like I did that rose. Now I wish you guys could see it in person. And I'm going to move it down some. I got a bunch. We did finally, me and Rudy piece together a bunch of the sets of 6, 11 by, these are 11 by 7. Mylar, you can wipe them, reuse them, or just continue to use them. There's a bunch of different kits. And you're not gonna probably like every single one in the kit. But there's a bunch of cool ones. So now, did that. So now I'm gonna come back with the black real quick. Try to figure out where I put that one. And what you do, you just barely line it back up. You know me, usually I'm not even, usually I tape everything up and don't even leave no room for. So literally I'll line it back up. Then I'll move it over just like a tad. I'll go back over it. And when you move it, of course, like I say, you guys really can't see, but it's got a white outline because I just moved it over like 2 millimeters. You know what I mean? And then some of this, because I didn't pay attention which way I was turning it, which is almost impossible. This is like playing the, what do you call it? Playing the game where you figure out what you did. So I hate to say my point will be lost on this section, but that's all right. I'm gonna sit here and try to figure out that exactly. So I'm just literally gonna come back in, try to position. Same thing. Little right there. All right, so yeah, it's black base, and it's basically it would basically be, Travis, what you're talking, like a black can. It's like a watered down black. Back to the tack rag. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm gonna come back while this is taped. And of course I could do, man, we could have went over with the white too, but I am gonna come just real quick before I untape it. I'm gonna adjust it a little bit. I'm gonna shoot along that. And then, let's see. So same thing. I'm gonna go over this with white. This will be a good one when we move it a little bit. I just want to try to go over all of the little edges real quick. And then like I say, I'm going to keep it there just for a second. Put my black there. I'm going to just move it over a little bit. Of course, this is with the touch-up gun. I mean, you get more detail with the airbrush if you know, if that's your thing. And like I say, I wish you could see it's, you know, it leaves a nice white, like white border. And then when it gets candied over it, man, it really gives it some depth. So same thing, I'm gonna come in fact, this one. No, you know what? I'm gonna still go with the black. Okay. Then I am going to go with a little bit of cobalt blue just over these, where it gets them a little bit darker. Kind of tack it up too. So, a couple coats of the cobalt blue, and then honestly, it's taped up. I still got, let's see. So I'm gonna untape this, and then if you can, save your paper, put it somewhere. I'll put it like on a table. Try to save some of it. Be careful when you're taking it up. Sure, that one there. You want to make sure when you're taking it up that you're not taking off any of the tape in the background, of course. But that's so easy to do. Tip it to the side. The right side's a little lighter. It's all right. We're gonna put way more color. That none of that'll even matter. So boom, do that, and then back to that. It's like, okay. Let's see what else. And like I say, I don't want to get too crazy. But so let's see. There's a couple other places we will tape up. Like I say, I'll probably do right there. So same thing. Let me a recycled tape. Right there, and you want to make sure it's dry too enough. If that's still a little wet, not bad, so I won't press down quite right there. Same thing here. In fact, this one I actually do want to boom, there. Same thing. Come back, and then I could do two. Back to that, save a little bit of time to redo this one here and this one at the same time, just because they're spaced out enough. So I will. In fact, with that one, I don't even need. So I'll come in with this. Same thing. You could either tear it, you could fold it. Matters how your tearing and folding skills are. Of course, this one here is a little bit. Just kind of rip that up there. So I'll have to tape that up anyway. Same thing. I'm going to come back real quick. Tape that there. This here, just to right here. Boom, boom, boom. Same thing here. Might as well just tape that up there to there. This one to there. Now literally tear a little bit up for this. Just to kind of come in with this one. Boom, and then with this one here, might as well just come in with this lower end tape. Right there. Boom, that's already there. Of course, this one I'm gonna have to come in just right here a little bit. Okay, same thing here. Okay. Boom, and then another little recycled deal, except for honestly that's not gonna cut it. So I'm gonna literally just come in real quick with this one. There, I'm gonna tear a little bit of this to use right there. You got to think back in the day, let me tell you guys. So back in the day with the newspaper, back to that, imagine how much tape, if you were using good tape, which there was a period where it really was, to tape up all those squares on a car, you think you're saving money, but you're using all this masking tape. So we would try to use lower end for the tape, kind of like what you see me using here. This is just the cheap 3M. I mean, there's a bunch of same thing. I have the J tape. They're super low end. I mean, it's like back to, you know, these are almost the same thing. And you know, it's just your paper on the tape on paper, man. You don't want to waste your good tape. It's like, man, you know, something that's $2 a roll to $6 a roll. It's like, man, it's like, try to conserve. So there we go, we got that there. You want to kind of make sure, go back, make sure you ain't got no leak throughs. Okay, so Man, I got these cool little doilies, man. Doilies used to be a big part of my life back in the day, let me tell you. Doilies were huge. Doilies from a wedding. I got a few of these kits. I'll kind of show you. I wish I had a little bit more space, but I don't. But we will do. So, a lot of my jobs the first 4 years definitely had doilies. A doily is usually used for like a wedding, depending on what you got going on. So let me make sure this one fits pretty good. Of course, these are kind of fancy ones. Back then, man, you could get like the ones at Hobby Lobby for a wedding. So what I'll do here, let me see if I want to start this way, come this way. Now we'll start this way. So I'm just gonna spray, if I can quit moving it, around the edge there. I'm gonna move it a little bit. I'm gonna move it a little bit. I'm gonna move it a little bit. I wish we had some more space. I'll give you guys an example here in a second. Let me finish filling in kind of what I got going on. So let me just give you guys an example here. So you go here, shoot about that much. Then you move it to where it's a little bit past it. Shoot it heavy just around the edge. Then you move it again. You do the same thing. Then you move it again. But you leave a little space. And you don't have to do it that way, but you see how it's looking like way cool. Like that one's underneath that one, that one's underneath that one, that one's underneath that one. You know what I mean? And you could do that all the way down, like I say. And it's a cool effect, depending on how you do it. You know what I mean? And of course, you could do the whole thing. You know, I mean, it's super cool too. Of course, then it's, try not to move it with my shaky butt. Super cool, you know what I mean? But this is the cool way to do it. That's the way I used to do it on all the cars. I'd do that at the bottom of the door all the way down. Of course, they would have two cool lines taped up, you know what I mean? That's like a cool way of doing it. And of course, over the flake right here, you can barely see what I was trying to achieve versus right there. It's like you see it just popping, you know what I mean? So now it's almost like lace, but like you see, it's just a cool way. Like I say, it's a doily, and there's so many different ones. Man, I got a bunch of cool ones I need to put, like I say, on the website for that. But like I say, there's just so many things you can do with that. And then yeah, kind of, my brother Manuel. But of course, these are like kind of fancy ones. The ones we used to use was just straight up like Hobby Lobby for a wedding back in the day. And like I say, man, Blue Venture Photos card that had it. I used to put it on all kinds of stuff. Rudy's brother John's Monte Carlo. Whole bunch of cool. Now let me see here. And then of course even some marble. We'll just do a little bit in those little spots. It's literally just a Walmart bag, Albertsons. Super watered down, whatever. Old school. What's up, girl? Hi. Yeah. So literally just a bag, you're spraying it on there. Position the marble real good. You position the bag real good and get that nice effect. And of course these are very small spots. So it's not really, I mean, we're just, like I say, we're just filling in. This ain't even the point of tonight's teaching, but boom. So we got a little marble in there. And I'm actually going to, I still have some purple mixed from last week, but I'm gonna candy over it, so it's not gonna be the color I'm shooting. Tack rag, kind of go back. Yeah, so it's not gonna stay purple. Utilizing what we got, and it'll be a cool effect to kind of give it a different level. So my brother Evan, I'm gonna be having some of that for sale here real soon. Real high quality at a real good price. X Prime. It's gonna be it would be pretty much compared to like House of Colors, the nebulizer, but at a fraction of the price. That's what I be using personally myself. Like I say, it's a product that I'm gonna be having for sale here real soon. It's been taking a minute. I've been kind of sending people to other vendors that have it. Most places, man, with the inner coat clear, man, it's usually the price range. The nebulizer is almost $400 for a gallon. Let me tell you, and you got to think, then you got like whatever, I don't care if it's Tropical Glitz, I don't care if it's Tammy, if it's Orion, whatever it is, you're looking at about 160, 170 for a gallon of inner coat clear. And then you can get at some shops the house one. But man, you get a lot of peeling, just like with House of Colors. I hate to say the SG100. Man, if we peel some of this up, it'll peel some of the candy sometimes if you don't let it set. Man, it makes a mess. So there we go. Good enough there. So I hope you guys kind of got the whole doily thing. It's a cool little effect. Boom. Yeah, there's a lot of, man, intercoat clear is pretty important what you're using. End up with some issues for sure. Yep. So there we got that. Like I say, this is just part of the process. And then, depending on what you want to do, I'm not really going to go back and put much in. I mean, you could put something in every one of these, something in there, but we're not. And then, of course, we could go back with some white in certain little areas and just white some of those areas. Like I say, it could have took the easy route, not done any of this, or done some of this, and then just shot literally around the edges. You know what I mean? And you could have done that too. I mean, there's just so many things you can do. And of course, you know, some of this, if you're gonna shoot white, you could choose to go back towards crisp lines, or we could go in and just shoot white in those lines and then come back with the candy over it. You know, it just depends on what you're trying to do. So I'm gonna come back with this one just real quick. Okay. Boom. Line that up there. Come on. Like I say, the cheap stuff. Got there. Just gonna do a few just to give you guys an example. Like I say, if we had a bunch of time, there's so many things we could do. I'm gonna do that there. And then we'll utilize that one there. And we'll utilize this here. In fact, I'll just tear that there. In fact, I'll use this one here. So I'll kind of come in here with this. This over here. Terrific. Right there. So that there. Tear that there. A little bit there. Okay, boom. Like I say, I want to try to utilize this one here too, just real quick. I'm gonna just tear right here. Kill two birds with one stone, and then you could just tear it, or you could just fold it over. Take that there. Take that. Come back with this one. Huh? Yeah, it's just on the paper though, thank God. I know it looks like it's looks like it's showing. Of course that there. Let's see if we could. Almost might as well utilize that too. So you know what? Utilize this real quick, guys. Same with this. For a little too much, but that's all right. Boom. Boom. See, that tape is gone. Let's break out with the cheap J tape one. Almost identical. Okay. Oops. What am I doing here? I need that open and that open. So I'm going to turn that there, peel that. And then this I might as well just turn here. And then that I'll do 1/2 inch. And this one I'm literally just gonna mask it up. I could have used the orange real quick, but honestly, when you're on a roll, just tearing it, make sure there's no leaker there. And then I'm gonna come back with real quick, cheap one to go right through that. Okay, so boom, boom. So this one, I'm literally just did all of that just to shoot the white to where it's nice and crispy inside there. Back to this, kind of check. Yeah, I seen that too, Candyman. He uses the clear, I think, with lacquer thinner to water it down. Says it works really good. That's kind of a judgment of your own. So same thing, I'm just shooting white right along that, and I'm going to actually come along this one too. Boom. One more. Okay. Then, same thing, I'm going to come back with a couple light coats of the cobalt blue over this. Definitely want to know what kind of wash to use. And when you guys say, what do you guys mean with the wash? Like, are you guys talking like wax and grease remover? Or are you guys talking something else? Tried a gallon from Walmart. Yeah, let me know what you guys are talking about. Let's see what you guys... We're doing the whole inside. Or I just did that. Yeah, not the whole inside, just the edges of it, my brother. And like I say, this is, the white is one of those things you guys, man, just don't really get to see like really what that does unless you see it in person. You know, it's like everybody too, when we did the crosses and people come pick them up here at the house. You know, the ones that are able to, that are not out of state. Man, I would turn on the light and kind of show people. And it just pops. I mean, like literally pops. Yeah, what are you talking about, Willis? Lacquer thinner, AKA thinner. Okay, got you. Yeah, lacquer thinner, man, I have no really preference on that. Back to that, I buy usually the house brand at the local paint store, or if I need it, honestly, back to that, Home Depot. If you're in a crunch, you know, I think I just bought 5 gallons from the local paint store, $59 I think, for 5 gallons of lacquer thinner, you know, to wash the guns out, to, you know, whatever you need it for. I mean, basically that's what it is. Clean your guns out. You know, it's like, man, it's And I know there's gun wash, if there's like 30 different ones. You save it? Yeah, definitely, Richard. I save all the paint. I put them in, man, like I say, I try to conserve, man. And there'll be times too where I'll give it to some people. You know, if there's any kids that need it around or something like that that are messing with something, I'll try to do that too. But I'll put them in bottles, like literally, I'll bottle it back up. You know, like here's the gold, you know, I stuck the gold back in, you know, one of the bottles to save it from 3 weeks ago, what was left in the gun. And usually too, that's the only problem when you leave them in here, you put the cap on. I hate to tell you guys, man, it gets hard. Like 3 weeks, a month, it starts, air gets in there. And it gets hard, and you'll have to put urethane reducer to kind of bring it back to life. Let me tell you, I've done that too. I have brought some candy. Ooh, I'm tearing off one of the... I've brought some candy back to life. Make that stuff stretch 15, 20 years, let me tell you. I have cans that I still haven't thrown away. Put down the candy and let the little boy go. I lifted up that green. So let me straighten it out real quick. Okay, that's about as much enough spacing out as I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna shoot some Oriental blue over all of it, and then we'll start doing the little layers. Be careful when you're tacking it too, that you don't jack up any of the points. So I mean, you'll have people literally just go along the edge. Like I say, this is the easy way out. Let's pretend we didn't do anything that we did. You could literally just do this. Go over that edge. Like I say, same thing. Depending on what you're doing, just pretend like we didn't do any what we did. Where you literally just go over the edge and you can take it off. You know what I mean? It's like, that's one way of doing it. And when I say that's like the easy way out, I don't mean it in that way, but it kind of is. And trust me, it's cool too, but it's like I say, that's the easiest way. You know, you just shoot along the edges. The whole thing, we could have done that with all of it. Like I say, I'm just gonna do this a little bit, and then I'm gonna Oriental blue over it. So same thing, just however, whatever you, and then like I say, you tear it up and you're good to go. You know what I mean? That's like one way of doing it. I'm gonna kind of just go over a few of these to kind of darken them, just a tad. Okay, one more time right here. Like I say, that's one way of doing it. And then of course, like I say, we kind of went back in, taped some of those. And now I'm gonna come back with Oriental over the whole thing. I'll do like 3 coats kind of over the whole thing, whatever you want to call it, 3, 4. And see, it kind of tints that purple, kind of makes it a cool color. It doesn't do too much to the cobalt, makes it maybe 1 shade lighter. And then you can kind of see where I went over the edges with the cobalt blue, how it kind of pops. And then if you're like, okay, I want a little bit more, let's say I do want to grab the purple. I kind of wanted to go back with the purple a little bit. Adjust it. You kind of wanted to go in maybe with the little purple there, kind of maybe darken it up a tad. You could come in right there. It'll basically make kind of a cobalt-ish blue. Same thing. I'm going to kind of go over, I'm just giving you guys an example. You could go in with a little bit. Same thing here. Kind of wanted to come in the middle, kind of darken it up a little bit. A little bit of the purple, you could go in, you got that option, you know. Come along that edge real quick. Same thing there, I could come along this outer edge a little bit with the purple. Same thing here, kind of come along that. Like I said, it's just kind of making like a purplish blue, like cobalt blue, oriental in the purple. Let's see what we got here. I was going to say the purple looks like cobalt blue. It does. It's basically doing that. So, and I'm just giving you guys examples. Every color is different. And of course, now's the cool part. This is the layering. So you guys kind of see what we got going on here. So now I'm going to take off this first. This is definitely puzzle taping. This is the last thing taped, is the first thing sprayed. So we're gonna come right here, literally take that off. And then before we move on, this is back to that. You can either tape it real crisp, and of course, this is where if you do have an airbrush and you wanna get in there real detailed, and to where you come in with the airbrush, makes it a lot cleaner versus kind of a little bit more dirtier. Or back to that. See how wet that is. Still a little bit wet, but I'm gonna go for it. So back to this. Literally come in. This is one way to do it. Come in with the black. Super adjusted. I'm gonna put the gun in kind of airbrush mode, but still, it still ain't. So I'm literally just coming. You could go along the whole edge. Man, I like to go where the silver's kind of cutting through, and I'll kind of just fade it out. I mean, you could tape along this, shoot the black. That would be cool too, but let's see, I'm gonna definitely get here a couple more times. I always like to get where the silver's going through to really give it that 3D look. So then you got that there. Boom. Then now, the next layer, which we could pick, I mean, this one's pretty much ready to go. I mean, I could come up here, do this one. This is where we're gonna work our way back to where we started. The first thing, just hit my head on the phone. Hopefully I didn't change the, oop, and see, look, peeled right there. Boom, boom, boom. So then, gonna come back. Gonna shoot right here. Same thing, and I'm not, in fact, let me take this one off. This will be our next one this way. And when it is wet like this, you gotta really be careful you do, because it will peel, which is very sad. So we're gonna go there to there. And then because this one's not really going in, I can literally tear this one off too at the same time. I'll be able to do the shading at the same time. Like I say, it's like another level. And back to that, we could go in and tape it up with your recycled. You can come back in to get it crisp. Or if you got an airbrush, you could go back in. Like I say, and get it. Do what you got to do. Same thing. Coming with black right there. Depending on how much you want to put. Boom. So then, like I say, see those ones did peel up right there. So I'm going to kind of show you guys. You could either make a super big mess. Come back in, tape this up right here. About right there. And then same thing. Come in with come in right there. Man, really like the guns. They're really nice. Go back, be very gentle. Same thing. Boom. Okay, now next level. All the way down here. Same thing. Okay, and then now same thing. I could do this one. Actually, all of these, this one can come off. Same thing. Same thing, and then we're gonna shoot black. Around this. And back to that. If you want to sit there and tape that up, or you could come back in. You could come in with the black on both of these and just kind of come in, especially with an airbrush. Just giving you guys two different ways to do it. Strategically come in or tape it up. So boom, now we'll be able to do the next. Like that goes underneath this. That goes underneath that. Now we're gonna peel this off to here. Peel this one off to same thing. We're just whittling our way down to that last one, as you guys can see. Okay, so same thing, and I come back in. I'm not gonna tape that one up. I'm gonna come back in with the black right here. Especially if it was already black, kind of that edge is one of the ones we did do with the black. Like I say, you could totally airbrush, get in there really nice with an airbrush, a little more detailed. It does look a little cleaner. It just matters what your, I mean, it just depends on what your weapon of warfare is, you know what I mean? Boom. Now tack her off. Brother Jeremy. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back with this little come up right there. Woo! That's crazy. So now I'm gonna come back this little one. We're gonna go around the edges. Back to that. A little bit of black around the edges. Same thing around this, and it'll kind of make it look like those patterns are going underneath that. Same thing, I'm gonna come over here. Open it up a little bit more, the black, a little bit heavier toward this end. Right there. I'm gonna make sure not to lift any of the vinyl up. Yeah, there you go. Looks like it belongs on a Caprice hood. Great job, brother. I appreciate it. Brother Tim in the house. Man, my brother Tim. Yeah. Rudy said to say hi too, brother Tim. We're gonna go back, make sure you get all your stuff up, tack it up. Then this just depends on what color you want to put. You can kind of see like that purple didn't stay purple like I told you. You know, it's one of those things. Yeah, and if you were to like literally, like you say, whichever direction you're putting it, and it literally could be a hood. Like I say, if we were doing the mirror image, and this is the windshield, you know, I'm trying to put it where you guys can see. This would be like the end of the hood. That would be the front of the hood. Depending on which way you put it. You can flip it, flop it. Okay, so then now I'm gonna go just with a little oriental around the edge. And we'll take that border up. Couple laps. Depending on how deep you want it, that border. Peel this one up first because I overlapped that one. Boom. You guys kind of see, you know, that's like I say, we usually just do the regular border. And this we just kind of did a little different. And it looks like the patterns are kind of going underneath that. I mean, just something cool you can do, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, the number. Let's see. So Rudy picked 80. Who got 80? Who got 80? I'm so sorry. I should have called that a long time ago. Did anybody get 80? Yeah, it makes it more 3D, Lisa, for sure. And I'm going to wait to clear it because I'm going to try to re-sand and re-clear the one that I did from last week. I'm going to re-sand and re-clear this one. So I'm going to clear this one with it. And you guys can see what it looks like next week. Man, I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, I hope you guys really got what we're talking about as far as layering. That goes underneath that. This is underneath that. It all started with this one. Imagine this is the first one we laid down. And then we built up and everything just kind of goes underneath this one. That goes underneath that. This goes underneath that. This goes underneath that. Layering. So that's what it would be, layering. So, you know, I hope this was useful to you guys tonight. Roman? Yeah. Let's pray out. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord. First and foremost, we just thank you, Lord, for another day. I want to lift up every single person on this live tonight. If they don't have a relationship with you, that you would let them know who you are and you would touch them. I pray for anybody that's going through just any trials right now, any struggle right now, that you would let them know that you're with them through those trials. And we just thank you. A lot of us are super blessed, and we just thank you, Lord, through the blessings, through the trials. We just thank you, Lord. I pray you continue to change lives. I lift up every single person on this live tonight, their family members, those that are struggling with addiction, struggling just with depression, struggling with suicide, those that are struggling with finances. I pray you just continue to just touch each and every person on here. And we just thank you, Lord, for the skill and the talent that you give us to do what we do. Encourage the people on here that are trying to do this, Lord. Give them the skill and the talent to do this. And we just thank you, Lord. In all honor and glory to our beautiful Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Have a super good weekend. I'll see you guys next Thursday. And I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned and God bless.